Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday, the 31st of August. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Armidale, in northern New South Wales. We're projected to have about 20 degrees today, which is sensational for a winter's day. So really can't wait for that. It's starting to feel like we're maybe just starting to come out the other end of winter, which is fantastic. For those who are joining us for the first time, or who are regulars and have been with us now since the beginning of COVID, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am Bronwyn Pearson from Pinnacle People Solutions, and welcome to our weekly Facebook Live update. So our company, Pinnacle People Solutions, provides human resource services, advice, solutions, support, you name it, we provide it to regionally based small to medium-sized enterprises and not-for-profit organisations. And as we have been for some time now, we are here to help you and your business, not only through these really challenging COVID-19 times, but all the time. So please ask any questions you might have as we go along, and I'll do my best to answer those. Outside of this, you can contact me and my wonderful team anytime via Facebook, email, phone, website, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. There's lots of different ways you can reach out to us. We will provide the details of that in the comments for you, and we'd welcome you to get in touch with us for a no obligation free conversation about where you and your business are up to, and what you might need some support with. So we haven't had a huge amount of breaking news or big changes relating to HR and COVID since last Monday, the 24th of August. We had a lot of stuff happening in that week before, and we profiled the High Court decision in respect of calculation of personal carers leave, which was a great relief. If you haven't got up to speed on that, go back and have a look at our weekly live update last Monday, and the fact sheet associated with that, which is up on our website at pinnaclepeoplesolutions.com.au. We are waiting to see the outcome of the annual Bush Summit, which was held in Cooma last Friday, the 28th of August, where the focus of this year's Bush Summit, attended by all levels of government, and also the Prime Minister. The focus of this particular summit has been around regional relocation and migration, which is a topic that I've decided for us to look into a little bit today, because it really is timely. The other thing I would also encourage you to have a look at is the Business New South Wales report, Back on Track, which was produced following extensive survey of New South Wales businesses and what they need to support recovery. So we might do a bit more of a feature on that moving forward, but I'd encourage you, and we'll give you the link to that, encourage you to go in and have a look at that and what have been recommended to government in terms of business drivers for economic recovery for small to medium businesses and not-for-profit organisations. That's an important thing to be that we're all focused on, obviously. And good morning, everybody who's joining us and wishing us good morning this morning. It's delightful to have you with us. Okay, so I thought in the absence of particular sort of hard-hitting things this last week, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is the prevalence during COVID, and I think well and truly beyond, of remote work, and the prospect that indeed remote work could finally start to end the unfair career bias that's felt by a lot of professionals living in the country. And look, if there's one lesson for businesses that we're starting to take away from this coronavirus period, it's that geography doesn't matter nearly as much as people used to think. And certainly providing recruitment and other support services for regionally based business, one of the myths that we frequently come across is this idea that you can't attract and keep great people in regional areas. And it's just not true. It's never been true. But it's even less so now. And the reason for that is while terribly and regrettably, and none of us would ever have wished a pandemic on anybody, and the immeasurable loss of life that has occurred from that, and it's going to continue to hurt our economies for some considerable time to come. It's at least changed one thing for the better, and that has been that it has created opportunities for people who live in rural and regional areas, because it's evened the playing field. And one of the things that we have found as a business, I know a lot of our clients have found and other business owners have talked about, is the fact that all of a sudden conferences, training events, networking events in 2020 have all been moved online. Meaning that people in rural and regional areas can actually attend now without losing 4 or 5 or more hours of their day for a 40-minute meeting. It really has leveled the playing field quite substantially. And of course, the work itself is happening fundamentally online in ways far more than it ever has before, rendering geography completely irrelevant. So, in fact, what we're discovering and have discovered over this period of time, and it's continuing to play itself out, which is really exciting, is that people in rural and regional areas have proved themselves to be some of the quickest to adapt to this new landscape, necessarily because we're used to adapting. We're resilient. You know, drought, bushfires, and now COVID. The adaptations that are happening around us have been really quite awe-inspiring and quite phenomenal. A lot of people already living in rural and regional areas were pretty digitally enabled, really, before COVID hit, set up with systems for remote work, and armed with the kind of flexibility and ingenuity that can only be formed by years of dealing with, unreliable internet, phone services, etc. And quite frankly, it's those who live and work in the country who have always had plans B, C, and D when it comes to businesses or their business or a job. So quite frankly, what we're seeing is significant interest from people living and working in metros who want to move to regional, who are talking to their employers about continuing to do their job, but being relocated in an area where they look out to green rolling hills, they step out to fresh air. The commute is not really a commute, and they get to live and work in communities that care. I'm not saying that they don't care in Metro. I absolutely am not saying that. But this idea that we've had, I think, in the past, particularly in terms of professional jobs, perhaps, is that you haven't really made it unless you're working in a major city, is you can be doing exactly the same job, whether it's in Melbourne or Mudgee, whether it's in, Adelaide or Armidale. And seriously, this idea of people's credentials being constantly judged to be lesser because they're living and working in regional areas is really going by the by now, necessarily as a consequence of the way in which we're working changing quite significantly. Land values in regional areas are rising despite the recession, which is pushing down prices in capital cities. Many people are telling us they don't want to live in the city anymore. No doubt, obviously, some of that's a reaction to coronavirus lockdowns, but a lot of it is due to the fact that you can still do your senior level job and live where you want to. So whether people are, going to be relocating into regions to do jobs that they would normally do in the city, they're still going to be living and spending their money in regional areas and contributing and thoroughly enjoying their change of circumstances. Indeed, they're going to be bringing partners and families and such with them, which gives regional businesses fantastic opportunity to be attracting and retaining, even more widely than they've been able to do to this point in time. The value, if you like, of geography in terms of your capacity to have a career, etc., has been completely dismantled. And that's not my technology, but health and economic necessity. So there's a real substantial cultural shift, and I think that there's a reasonable chance this is permanent, or certainly permanent to a great degree. More than 50%, 53% of early stage businesses feel that they don't need to return to an office, with so the majority saying that returning to an office was not business critical. So I think what we're hoping that we're going to see post pandemic is that the kind of geographical hierarchies and perceptions that have been in and disadvantaged regional and rural communities for so long aren't going to be there anymore. And as I said, our experience on the ground is that businesses can attract, retain and develop the most phenomenal people, whether they're already living in regional areas or whether we're bringing them in. And there's so much more interest, and there's also much more stated intention now at all levels of government for regional relocation and regional diversification. So watch this space. I think this is going to be a fantastic development that we're going to keep talking with you about. If you're a business who is looking at ways to attract, retain and develop a broader diversity of staff, now's the time to be doing it, because you've got entree to a whole range of options. You've always had access to them, but getting access to them is not something you may necessarily know yourself how to do. We can absolutely help you with that. And the idea that people are starting to make plans in much greater numbers than they've been to this point in time to relocate. Now's the time for our regional areas and our employers to be singing from the hymn sheet as to the wonderful opportunities that we get to have to live and work in regional Australia. So what are some of the things that are takeaways from today is think outside the box, because now is fantastic opportunity, I believe, for regional and rural areas. So we'd love to talk to you about your workforce planning and what that might look like, markets that you might be able to get into, people that you might be able to, that you definitely are going to be able to attract. So talk to us about that. I guess the broader sort of question to take away from today is, how will you be doing business in 2021 and beyond? The possibilities are endless and significant. So we'd love to talk to you about that and what that might look like for your business. Scrap the myth right here and right now that you can't get people to relocate into regional areas. They're planning those moves now, so get in front of them, and we can certainly help you do that. Further to the High Court decision of last week around personal carers leave, a reminder to check the way that you're calculating it. If you need help to make sure that that's being done correctly, let us know. We'd be very happy to help you with that. Is the structure of your workplace what you need right now, or indeed for the next stage? Are you prepared for the transition away from JobKeeper, or indeed towards stage 2 of JobKeeper? And in fact, that's my deep dive on Wednesday's webinar. I'm getting into JobKeeper 2.0 and asking the question, are you ready? Do you have enabling directions in place if you're currently getting JobKeeper that you won't have access to after the 28th of September? We can certainly help you with that. And make sure that you have robust policy and procedure in place. Issues are on the rise around harassment, bullying and discrimination in terms of complaints. And employer accountability is never more being scrutinised than it is now. So make sure that you're prepared. Of course, make sure you've got a COVID safe plan in place, display your credentials, register yourself with the New South Wales government if you're in New South Wales, or with other governments. Depending on what state you're in, make sure you've got your signage up and happening, your tracing obligations are being met. And now would be a really good time to review your staff arrangements. Next month, well, no, it's not next month, September, in October, we are going to be running a small business back to basics set of series in October, in coinciding with Small Business Month. And so we're really excited to tell you more about that. So, and one of the things we'll be saying is, come on, let's get stuck in and have a look at where you're up to in terms of your HR and your health and safety infrastructure, and having good employment contracts, position descriptions, etc. in place. So that's it for us for our weekly update today. Lots of fantastic opportunities for rural and regional areas. We would love to help you work out the best way you can position yourself to take advantage of those. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you've got specific questions about your business or you'd like us to help you out in any way, don't hesitate to get in touch with us via phone, email, Facebook, all of the usual channels that we are active in. Don't hesitate. Our webinar this Wednesday, as I said, I will be discussing JobKeeper 2.0. Are you ready? So now's the time to see if you're eligible and be planning the transition, whether you are or whether you're not. So tell all your colleagues, family and friends who want to know their options, what to do and when, to tune in on Wednesday at 5:30, where we will be going through JobKeeper 2.0 and what you need to do with a fine-tooth comb. In the meantime, please hug the people that you can and wave cheerily at those that you're yet not allowed to. Stay safe, stay socially distant. Please wear a mask in public places, and if social distancing is hard, please do that. Wash your hands, keep up that great hygiene, and we'll really look forward to seeing you on Wednesday for the deep dive into JobKeeper 2.0. Are you ready? All right, have a fantastic week. See you Wednesday.